It's crazy to think about how much time, money, and energy has gone into trying to enforce the NFA with almost nothing to show for the ATF's efforts. Gun-related crime is at an all-time high, and the ATF wants to incarcerate your mom because she was sold an AR pistol back in 2020 when everybody and their mother, literally, were buying braced pistols. Your sweet, lovely, adorable mother, who has never broken a law in her life and probably wasn't even aware of the recent pistol brace ruling, the ATF wants to throw her into jail for owning a legally purchased firearm with a removable piece of plastic attached to the back of it. Think about that. WTF, ATF. So I already know that I'm saying a lot of stuff that isn't really new to anybody and probably won't change anybody's mind. But darn it, I'm a human being and I have a YouTube channel, so I'm going to speak my mind and I'm going to make a video. Plus, it's deer season and there's a lot of hunters out at the farm for the next couple weeks, so I'm just doing a talking video this week. But I do have some cool toys on the table to share. Hey, happy Freedom Injunction, everybody. Well, that was weird. I was a felon multiple times over for about 6 months for a piece of plastic, and now I guess I'm not? Well, I guess I wasn't quite a felon because I'm a proud member of the FPC, one of the only Pro 2A organizations actually getting shit done. NRA almost nowhere to be found, but I digress. So, millions of law-abiding Americans, including myself at the time, woke up on June 1st and let out a collective piss off ATF. Then some legal crap happened, and here we are. A nationwide injunction in the pistol brace ruling has finally come.
Woo! All right! I love the future!
So recently, I was sitting down with a friend over dinner and discussing current events, as friends would, and she said something that really stuck with me. In talking about other countries, again, currently in the news, she said, "I love certain countries, but hate their governments." And I immediately thought, wow, that's how I feel about this country, America. I absolutely love this country, love the people, love the land, love the freedoms and opportunities it has afforded me just by simply being born in it. I love the basic values that the average middle-of-the-road American has. The right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness with an overall good moral compass. America is truly the greatest country on earth, but the people who hold political office are running it into the ground. They've not only lost connection with the people they represent, but with what being an American represents. Something like the ATF's pistol brace rule was never meant to last. I'm surprised it wasn't struck down sooner. But what it did accomplish was pushing a certain agenda meant to only benefit a few at the top and not the people of this great nation. In fact, they pushed their agenda knowing quite well that it could have resulted in the mass incarceration of millions of law-abiding citizens, as well as the mass confiscation of millions of firearms from said law-abiding citizens, while it would have done absolutely nothing to curtail gun-related crime. So even though I'm an FPC member, I wouldn't be doing a video like this if it wasn't for the Armed Scholars video that had just come out a few days ago, at least as of recording this video. And I'll leave a link to that video in the description. But basically, you know, these two people, if you don't know who the Armed Scholars are, they're very reputable firearms lawyers, and they're a great channel to subscribe to and to watch if you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the firearms world, especially if you want to know the laws and if you want to know how to keep yourself out of jail and all that kind of stuff. So I do watch their videos quite a lot. And after this, I forgot exactly what it was, but you know, the judge in Texas ruled that there is a nationwide injunction. The Armed Scholars came out with a video and basically just said it's kind of like 2019 all over again, where nobody even knew anything about a pistol brace ruling, and the ATF was saying, yeah, it's cool, you can go ahead and stick a pistol brace on the back of your AR pistol, and not only can you stick it on the back, but if it happens to touch your shoulder, that's no big deal. We're not really going to care about that. Well, obviously, fast forward a couple of years later, and we got the pistol brace ruling, and so I was basically just waiting for somebody like the arms scholars to come out and just say, it's okay, you can go back to, not worrying about the ATF kicking in your door for a piece of plastic. Like literally, a piece of plastic. This thing has a metal pin right here, I think maybe a spring, but it is, yeah, right here. But it is 99% plastic, and it is absurd to think that this would have put me in jail for, 10 years, $250,000 fine, something like that. Something ridiculous, just because I put this on this, and to make it safer, by the way, putting this on this, obviously it already has one, but putting a pistol brace on this right here, it literally makes the gun safer. That's how incredibly ignorant gun law-making politicians are. They think that this thing's scary. They think I'm going to go on a rampage, and just, I don't even want to say it, obviously, because YouTube's always watching, but you get my point. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm just happy that they came out with that video. Again, the link is in the description if you want to go watch it yourself, but because they did that video, I feel comfortable showing these pistol braces now, especially one that is attached to a pistol. And on top of that, Palmetto State Armory, as well as a few other sites, and I'm sure more will follow, have started selling firearms with pistol braces. So I think we're good to go. I don't really think there's anything that the ATF can really do, at least in the near future. This is going to go on for a long time. The armed scholars kind of laid it all out. It's actually going to probably be about a 4-year, legal battle, but we're not really going to have to worry about anything, at least for the next few years. And most likely it will just be completely overturned anyway. So really nothing to worry about, at least with the pistol braces here. So the 3 pistol braces that I've got on here, we've got the Magpul. Is this the BTR? Yes, I believe so. I really like this pistol brace a lot. It's just, the form of it is really nice, and there's a nice little cheek well here, and just operates really well. It's adjustable and stuff. And it's very cheap as well. It's one of the cheaper pistol braces you can get. Speaking of one of the cheaper pistol braces you can get, I've got a CAC Shockwave right here. And this is, I believe, the 2, like the Shockwave 2. It doesn't say on here. But they make the original Shockwave is a little bit bigger than this. This one is a little bit smaller. And no, it did not come in this cool gray color. I actually kind of sprayed it with a gray paint, and then kind of did like a speckle, I don't know if it's going to really come up in the camera, but did like a speckle black sort of pattern. Whoopsie. Did a like speckle black. Now there's a couple more speckles, but did a speckle black pattern with a little bit of a rattle can job. And this right here is the one of the OGs, more or less, the SB Tactical SB-A3, I believe. This is really nothing to do with firearms or anything. It's just an astronaut surfing a sweet wave. Maybe one of those sweet cosmic waves. So anyways, let's just go into the gun here. So this is kind of like a PDW build. I built this thing a few years ago. And so when that stupid pistol brace ruling happened, I was like, oh gosh, darn it. It's not like I can just swap the barrel out on this thing and take the pistol brace off or whatever, because there's obviously a paint job going on here, and it would just look stupid if I replaced anything. So this is a custom paint job. Custom paint job, obviously, that I did myself though. So it's just kind of like a gray, black, and blue sort of theme. Got a lightweight bolt in there. And I think this is the optic on here is the Holosun, what is that, the HS403B 2 MOA. And I've got a stream light some sort of flashlight right here. But yeah, I mean, basically, I would like to go ahead and stick a Canuter valve on this at some point. Actually, I think on Black Friday, which is coming up in just a few days. I'm going to go ahead and maybe order one and wait a boatload of time, however long it's going to be to get it. But yeah, I think that this little PDW right here will be complete once I get a little compact suppressor on there, something like the Canuter valve. And I think that's, oh yeah, I guess trigger wise, I think it's a Rise Armament. I forgot exactly what it is, but I'll have to notate what it is. But it is a great trigger. I actually used to have a Geisley in here, but I swapped that Geisley to a different AR recently. And then just a cheap sling, one of these like bungee slings, you know, so it stretches and stuff. But I don't really spend a lot of money on slings. I think that as long as they kind of serve their purpose, there's really no reason to spend a whole lot of money. So yeah, that's about it on this little guy right here. But I built this thing, you know, like I said, a few years ago. I was really proud of it because I think the paint job came out great. And I loved shooting this thing. It's actually, it's got a adjustable gas block, so I, you know, adjusted it to where it's pretty soft shooting. And the trigger is just amazing. And, you know, when it had that Geisley, obviously that was amazing. So anyways, so I had just talked about briefly, you know, waiting a ridiculous amount of time for that suppressor. And with the whole pistol brace debacle and the massive backup of suppressor applications that require 10 to 18 months to approve. I had one suppressor that took 14 months, which is just ridiculous, as well as the second one that I got, which was 11 months. That's just absolutely ridiculous, especially in this day and age where, you know, information can be found at our fingertips within seconds. It takes 10 to 18 months or so to approve a suppressor because of an archaic, bureaucratic, overreaching agencies, outdated system, as well as a litany of other issues like reneging on the pistol braces after a decade of allowing millions of unsuspecting law-abiding citizens to use them on their AR pistol. So really there's only one simple solution. Repeal the NFA. Or at the very least, just change it or replace it with something that both sides can compromise on. No, we don't want to pay a $200 tax stamp. No, we do not want to register our firearm. No, we do not want to be on a list that the government keeps. And we don't want to wait 11 to 18 months or whatever it is to get our approval. And we don't want to have to bow down to a stupid bureaucratic, whatever. I already said enough about them. I'm not going to keep going on. Obviously, I get a little worked up about the stupid ATF, but like I was saying, that we can maybe replace the NFA. If you don't want to get rid of the NFA entirely, maybe you can replace it with something that both sides can compromise on. For example, you know, like I was saying, just eliminate things that are in common use, like suppressors and pistol braces, or just short barrel rifles for that matter. I think that's what I was trying to get to, is we don't even need pistol braces if you just take short barrel rifles out of the NFA. And then, you know, keep in the NFA. I know people are not going to like to hear this, but something that people don't really do a lot is shoot machine guns. So go ahead, keep the machine guns in the NFA. They're expensive to own, and especially in today's economy, very expensive to shoot. I know a lot of you are going to say, this guy's an idiot, shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. Rabble.
Oh, my Benjamin Franklin. It's Mr. Franklin.
I get it. Okay, I get it. I hate all firearm laws, but I'm also a member of a free society, and there's a lot of law-abiding citizens out there that I wouldn't trust with a toothpick, let alone a machine gun. Plus, I think 99% of gun owners would be very happy with just simply having SBRs, SBSs, and suppressors taken off the registry. So if the only way to repeal the NFA is to replace it with something that deregulates SBRs, SBSs, and suppressors, or at the very least SBRs and suppressors, while regulating something most of us don't use then that much, then that's fine with me. And it'll also make the ignorant gun grabbers feel like they're accomplishing something. We kept the machine guns off the streets, they'll cheer. Or another idea, maybe only regulate NFA items within the cities, because that's where all the crime is for the most part. Yes, I know that they would just simply mean a criminal could buy a suppressor outside city limits and then use it for crimes within the city. So scary, I know. If you can't sense my sarcasm, the NFA was put into place to fight crime within heavily populated areas such as Chicago, while statistically not actually preventing crime in any way. And all it did was punish law-abiding citizens that don't live in the city, for the most part, that don't want to have anything to do with the cities in the first place. So how about at least allowing non-city residents to purchase suppressors or SBRs without regulation and without a year and a half of waiting to have it approved. The NFA is a massively outdated law that was created back when gangsters were running around with Tommy guns tucked in their trench coats. Today, gangsters don't shoot Tommy guns, and they're sure as heck, they sure as heck don't wear trench coats. Plus, have you ever seen anyone actually try to conceal an AR pistol? You can't. You stick out like a sore thumb in a crowd of people. You're not going to fool anyone trying to shove this thing down your pants. Braced pistols just simply are not concealable. They're smaller than a rifle, yes, but they're not concealable. Also, the NFA came into existence to fight gangsters getting rich off illegal liquor during Prohibition, and if there's one thing we've learned through prohibition of alcohol and now marijuana is that prohibition doesn't work. And you can also say the same for the prohibition of certain gun rights, because criminals don't care what the gun laws are when committing a crime, and they will always be able to obtain a firearm either legally or illegally. And let's just go back to suppressors real quick and talk about how neighborly they are. They're safer not only for the user, but for basically anybody within the vicinity, and you're not going to be pissing off your neighbor that's living 500 yards away because they hear you blasting. They're almost a necessity for a home defense setup because you don't want to blow out your eardrums just after firing a couple of shots, God forbid. Plus, suppressors were thrown on the registry at the last moment to go after supposed poachers. Keep in mind this is 1934, at the height of the Great Depression, and people were just trying to feed their families. Poaching isn't much of an issue anymore in America. Not to say it doesn't exist, but it's not like deer are going on the endangered species list anytime soon. Plus, now you have all these hogs running rampant as well. But I really look at suppressors like hearing protection. I think that they should just be sold without any regulation whatsoever, right next to the hearing protection. Whenever you walk into like a Bass Pro shop or something like that. I mean, also just think about how amazing suppressor technology can be if it was unregulated. Just in the last couple of years, suppressor technology has come such a far way because there are so many suppressor companies that are just springing up everywhere, and there's a lot of competition out there, which is good for the consumer and really good for development of products. And yeah, I mean, suppressors have really come a long way just in the last few years because they've become common use. It's crazy to think about how much time, money, and energy has gone into trying to enforce the NFA with almost nothing to show for the ATF's efforts. Gun-related crime is at an all-time high, and the ATF wants to incarcerate your mom because she was sold an AR pistol back in 2020 when everybody and their mother, literally, were buying braced pistols. Your sweet, lovely, adorable mother, who has never broken a law in her life and probably wasn't even aware of the recent pistol brace ruling, the ATF wants to throw her into jail for owning a legally purchased firearm with a removable piece of plastic attached to the back of it. Think about that. WTF, ATF. I'll say that again. WTF, ATF. So anyways, it's quite simple. Just repeal the NFA. Honestly, I do believe that the ATF really stepped in some shit, and we're going to see the NFA struck down in the near future. I can't really say if that's months, years, or however long, but I don't think it'll be more than 10 years that we'll see the NFA disappear. I think I think of it like the failed war on drugs, but more specifically marijuana. After decades of fighting it and billions of tax dollars wasted, you see the states legalizing marijuana and the feds basically throwing up their hands in defeat and not enforcing what is still currently a federal crime. But probably not for long. And I think we'll see the same thing happen with the NFA in the near future. I just hope that it doesn't take much longer. That's all I really have to say. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching.